Hello and welcome back to this video. I'm struggling a little bit to figure out my lighting slash background situation, but it's a work in progress. Hopefully you can see like the colors represented fine as is today. So this video that I am focusing on today is going to be about these two new Hindash lipsticks, which he recently launched in his new collection. For the past few years, I've been a fan of Hindash. I think his makeup looks are absolutely stunning. I think he works really beautifully with eyeliners. I've kind of just been following along his brand, and I was very interested in trying these two lipsticks in particular because I feel that brands started by makeup artists just kind of have a higher level of excellence when it comes to color selection. What comes to mind for me is the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks, and they are just so wonderfully nuanced and thought out. I'll put them on me and I'm like, wow, this is so nuanced. And I could also see this working really beautifully on so many other skin tones. Whenever she does her like deep dives into how she chose the colors for her collections, they are very well inspired, very well researched, and clearly has had a lot of thought in like making sure that this color stands out and looks stunning on all sorts of people. The fact that this collection was so finely curated in terms of having two very distinct colors and distinct formulas and only having these two colors paired with Hindash's obviously extensive work of like makeup artistry, working with different skin tones and whatnot, I was really excited because I felt like these were sure to be similarly as thought out in quality and nuance. So getting into the product a little bit, they both retail for $30 each, so solidly in the luxury price point. I have the shade Rest in Roses and Call Me Peaches, where Call Me Peaches is a like velvet matte finish, supposedly full coverage lipstick, and Rest in Roses is touted as a like buildable sheer matte lipstick. So I have them both swatched here. This is Call Me Peaches, and as you can see, it's quite opaque and even. Rest in Roses, I first did one layer and then a second layer in this bottom half here, so you can definitely see how there is a noticeable difference between when it's built up versus sheared out. The components I think are adequately luxe. They have some weight to them. I think the design is really nice. It's got this like sleek aluminum packaging, I think. My one small gripe is that the metal like detailings here are very sharp. They just feel very sharp for some reason, and I feel like that could have been rounded out, but yep, that's a very small thing. I will say that I am ultimately kind of disappointed in how these colors look. I'm going in with one layer of Rest in Roses first. So there it is. It's on my skin tone, actually pretty bold, I would want to say. For whatever reason, I feel like the shape of the bullet is very plump and like kind of not that large amount of surface area at the top of the bullet, and at least for me, it's not the most intuitive for drawing, like filling in the lines of my lips very straight. I just like struggle a little bit more with it than I expected. Let me go ahead and build it up. So on me, it looks like a surprisingly deep kind of berry right now as opposed to a rose. I think this is something that would depend on your skin tone a lot. All right, so going in with Call Me Peaches now. So I actually hate this color. I think it is very strongly white based or something. It looks darn close to orange on me, and it's just not a very flattering color. Yeah, I just don't feel like it fits well with my skin tone, and it's not the worst thing, but I definitely feel like this is a color that I would wear like tapped out and sheared out to make it work better with my skin tone. It's just not really something I would reach for. I feel like it's quite white based. Maybe my like color theory is off or something, but given that, I'm not sure it would look good on like medium skin tones either. I don't know. But this was quite disappointing to me. I also feel like the formula is nothing crazy impressive. Like, if my lips are a little chapped looking, this ends up looking a bit thick. It's like plush and comfortable and not super drying, but it can look just a little bit chalky or cakey on my lips in my opinion. I feel like I can really see like the lines of my lips as I kind of move around and talk, and I think with my preferred slash favorite matte formulas, they more so have like a blurring, thin smoothing effect. This formulation somewhat reminds me of the Pat McGrath Matte Trance lipstick formula, especially because like the bullet has that like soft velvet texture to the outside. However, I will say that those lipsticks are much more thin in texture and feeling on the lips, and like while these are similar amounts of opacity and like matteness slash also not feeling too drying while being matte looking, I think that this formula is just like, because it's a little thicker and emphasizes lines a little more, not as up my alley. It could also just be that this color really doesn't do it for me, so I'm overly critical of it. I do also want to show how it looks applied with Rest in Roses on top, because he often advertises wearing both together. I've seen a lot of posts where he layers them. And I think that the resulting lip color when layered is actually really pretty, but I do think that this highlights the sheerness of Rest in Roses much better than on top of my natural lip color. I think I can still see the peaches peeking through, and overall I think the formulations kind of meld together into something more flattering, because the Rest in Roses has a bit more luminosity peeking through. It just kind of smooths over like where the Call Me Peaches was kind of emphasizing my lip texture, and overall just looks much better. I feel like much more myself and relieved in this color. So that's how these two colors look on me. I gotta say, I'm pretty disappointed. I don't feel like either of these colors are anything extraordinary. Together they make a very pretty color that I don't think I quite have in my collection. I do want to say, I thought that the colors here would be something particularly unique that I couldn't find in my collection, and I don't really think that's the case, but I think you can kind of see. So this is the shade Fig Fig from the Romand Juicy Lasting Tint, and I feel that it's pretty similar to Rest in Roses, especially, okay, yeah, if you can't, this part is like really juicy and built up, but where it's sheared out, you can kind of see it's similar to this color, and then when you build it up more, it's similar to how it looks built up there. And I think the way that like this swatch, it's much juicier, so it's reflecting the light, makes it seem a bit deeper, but in person they look super similar. So I will say that like I don't think that these colors are particularly unique to the brand. I think you can find like Rest in Roses, that sort of rosy color, in other formulations, and then I don't have anything similar to Call Me Peaches in my collection, simply because it's a pretty far departure from something that I would usually reach for. I like corally colors, I like peachy nudes, but this is like a bright but like kind of pale orange on me. Really not my cup of tea. So overall, like the product itself does feel pretty luxurious, and the formulations are not bad per se. This whole thing about like why I bought it in terms of having like extraordinary colors, having it be very flattering, I feel like neither of them are that unique nor like exceptionally flattering. I hope this video was helpful. I don't mean to be a buzzkill, but I had high hopes and they weren't quite met. So there's that, and thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts.